All right, guys, we're back for our fourth and final video on the subject of abortion, helping Christians to understand why we believe what we believe and how to be good pro-life advocates and apologists in the culture today. And I think it's going to be needed for our lifetimes. And Bo, I know you're on the front lines of this every day. I really appreciate your wisdom on this, just all that you've added to this. Let's begin with what I think often becomes the default argument for a lot of people. So when the abortion conversation comes up, a lot of times pro-choice, pro-abortion arguers like to go to the least common cases, right? The exception cases, right? We talk about rape and incest. We talk about ectopic pregnancies. Let's first off define both of those situations, what we mean by that, and how do you as a pro-lifer respond and encourage other Christians to learn how to respond to that?
So the biggest straw man being thrown around right now, and when I say right now, I mean in that post-Roe world, is people always want to bring up ectopic pregnancies. And they say, well, the way these new laws are written, you're going to throw a doctor in prison because he treated an ectopic pregnancy in a mother. One, that's an absolute straw man false argument. Absolute lie. Because an ectopic pregnancy never was a viable pregnancy to begin with.
It wasn't the ending of a life.
Yeah,
right?
you never had life. Okay, so by definition, it's not an abortion. It is an unfortunate, I feel so sorry for that mother who was excited to be pregnant. It's an unfortunate end to her pregnancy. Yeah. It is a medical procedure. It is not an abortion.
That's good.
And then two, whether it be ectopic or the rape and incest arguments.
People love to bring up the rape and incest argument.
All these things fall under one emotional umbrella. And this should be true to any apologetic topic. When your opponent has to rely on emotional argument, you are standing on really firm ground because they can no longer stand on fact or reason or logic. They're having to rely strictly on emotional argument. And in today's culture, we don't want to make anybody mad. We don't want to come across as the bad guy. So if I can propose something to you that is so emotionally driven, I know there's like a 99 out of 100% chance you're going to tuck your tail and you're not going to say anything because you don't want to look like the bad guy.
Right.
Well, as Christian apologists who are willing to defend their faith, which all of us should be, that should be the default Christian, we should be willing to push back on that. Now, the first thing I'm always going to want to say is, look, rape is horrid.
Absolutely terrible.
Terrible. It is an abomination to our God. But punishing the product of rape, the child that will result from rape, to give that child the death penalty makes no sense. I would say, and this is just one from my personal opinion, our ministry, HopeBeyondAbortion.com's opinion, our official stance, but more importantly than those two, the Word of God that says we should be consistent with how the application of the law is given in a just and equitable manner should say, don't kill the baby.
Right.
If we're going to kill somebody, kill the rapist.
Yeah, the baby shouldn't get the death penalty. It should be the rapist.
It should be the rapist.
Yeah, but in our society, we essentially say, let's kill the baby, or that becomes the justification. Let's kill the baby instead of...
Well, the even bigger lie than that is what's told to a woman right now that walks in her local abortion clinic, and she says, I've been raped. Abortion is framed as a solution.
Right.
This will take away the pain of your rape.
Yeah, it won't solve it.
All you're doing is compounding.
That's right.
You are compounding. You are cursing this woman to deal with even more trauma.
That's exactly right.
And look, if she doesn't want to raise her child, I completely understand. I am absolutely in understanding with that woman on that. That's the reason we stand in front of abortion clinics with giant signs that say, we will adopt your baby.
Right.
And we mean it.
Yeah.
There are solutions for this horrible situation that you found yourself in.
Yeah.
There are solutions that do not involve the murder of this child.
Yeah, I think that's really good. Now, let's spend the rest of our time Supreme Court handed down the decision where they're overturning Roe and Casey, which we say praise be to God.
Praise God.
Unjust laws, unjust rulings to begin with. I think justice has finally been served on that. So now what, right? So I think in some Christians' mind, well, the abortion fight's over. Why do we need hope beyond abortion? It's like, well, actually, because there's still a lot of work to do on many fronts, both on a practical ministry pastoral standpoint, but then also on the lobbying and on the policy standpoint.
Yes.
Can you kind of help Christians understand what's the lay of the land now?
So with the fall of Roe, it did not end abortion. Abortion is not over. All this did was take something that should have always been a 10th Amendment states' rights issue, and it took it away from the feds, gave it back to the states.
Right. Which ultimately is about giving it back to the people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're going to have kind of three classifications of states. You're going to have states that are going to go full throttle, anything goes, Wild West abortion states. You're going to have your Californias, your Marylands, your New Yorks.
Right.
You're going to have those in the middle kind of squishy states that are going to say, well, we should limit abortion, but we're not going to completely do away with it because that would just be too extreme.
Yep.
All right. And then you are going to have those few states. And when I say few, I don't think people understand how many states are not willing to outright abolish abortion, to take the abolitionist stance on the topic of abortion. But there are going to be some, praise be to God for them, that are going to go all the way and completely end abortion. And you're going to find your particular state, wherever you live, is going to fall in one of those three camps.
That's good. It's a good division to be thinking through, yeah.
So to the states that are going to just absolutely abolish it, we say praise be to God. But to the states that are going to kind of be in the squishy realm or go full throttle on it, our ministry is needed more than ever. You know, we're about to have to start doing a lot of traveling, a lot of lobbying, a lot of working with lawmakers, a lot of identifying who are the outspoken Christian lawmakers in your state that we could build a coalition with. There's going to be a lot of work done. And the sad thing, the misconception is, well, the fight's over. So like we saw, as soon as that the leak happened of the court opinion, our funding went, you know, our emails went, because people have this false assumption it's over. Praise the almighty sovereign God that Roe and Casey fell. That is a win that should be celebrated. But that is winning a battle. That is nowhere near winning the war.
Yeah, that's good.
So we've got a lot of work left to do in those states.
Brandon, one of the things that I've heard people saying is like, well, now that abortion's over, it's really time for the church to step up. And it's almost used as like, okay, well, y'all got what you want, and now you're going to take care of all these people.
You better step up.
Yeah, you better step up. How should we think about that statement?
Well, first of all, it's ignorant and it's insulting. It's insulting to a ministry like Bo's, who's been helping women before Roe fell. And it's ignorant because it's just not even looking at the past 2,000 years of church history where the church has come alongside the weak and the vulnerable consistently to help them. What do you think the pregnancy care centers have been doing?
Yeah.
You know, what do you think the churches that send volunteers and their monies have been doing?
Right.
You know, it's not like all of a sudden like, oh, we better erect all of these churches and pregnancy care centers to help these women.
Yeah.
You know, they're there. They've been there. You
Right.
know? So, you know, it's insulting. It's ignorant. And like you said, I think one of the pastors wrote online, he said, that Roe falling is like the Death Star falling, you know, and it's a huge win, but the battle is still going.
Yeah,
you know?
That's right. And I do think maybe this is a good way to kind of wrap this video. For those who are watching, one, I would highly encourage them to go to your website, go to Hope Beyond Abortion, look at ways that they can partner with you guys, financially support you guys. I would say, one, every Christian, every church can have a part to play, even if it's being willing to have, you know, counseling available for women in their church who have had abortions in the past. Or
post-abortive counseling is huge.
Post-abortive counseling be huge. You know, when people have been let down by the lies of the culture, they're going to need people there to hand out hope.
Yeah.
And I think the church is there for that. Two, get involved with clinics. Get involved in ministries like yours. Get involved in the work. Run for office. Like, in other words, this work is ongoing. It's not needing to start, but we can double down on it to show like, hey, we have solutions. We're here to offer help. Become adopted parents. I mean, there's lots of ways that Christians can say, hey, we're going to put our money where our mouth is, as we've always done.
Yep.
As we've always done.
Let us help you. Reach out to us. We want to equip churches for this fight.
Yeah.
I think the better message, rather than tell Christians is now the work needs to start, I think the better message is continue supporting the work.
That's right.
You know, because they act like we need to get started, but really, like you said, your funding dropped. I think the message is, hey, don't stop supporting the work.
Don't
It's
stop.
not over.
And I would say double it down.
Yeah.
Double down the support, because now that we've got these open doors, we actually might be able to state by state in the ability for abortion to take place. And we can meet the needs of women who maybe are saying, well, I can't go abort now. And we can say, hey, you've got hope.
Absolutely.
You've got hope. So thank you guys for being part of this. I know this is a hard conversation for many in our culture. A lot of Christians just feel handcuffed, don't even have to talk about this. A lot of screaming, a lot of online social media stuff. But I think we've done a good job building from the ground up. What does the Bible say? What does the science say? How do we engage in the apologetical, common conversations that are happening? What do we do now in a post Roe Casey world? Thank you guys for joining, being a part of this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.